mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all
What's up? I'm Drew, and welcome to another exciting adventure of the Ride the Rebellion podcast. This is our second time starting this because our first joke was just a little too edgy. Maybe one day we'll drop that Patreon magic and you guys can see the uncensored bug and all the outtakes that happen that you're not allowed to see. Then we're going to make you pay for it because then you admittedly know what you're getting into. Fair enough? And with me today is the man that puts the woke in gravel biking, Dale Boyd.
I'm so woke. I've never even ridden a drop bar bike. I wouldn't even know how to wokenly shift it.
Yeah, I don't even know either. We were just cracking up about, we were having a little jam session about the Don Lemon and Tucker Carlson situation.
Yeah.
We both thought it was kind of funny, those two guys. And Dale actually made a good point. They should just literally start their own podcast. They actually have the opportunity to do it, and it would be edgy. But one of them got canceled for lying, and the other one got canceled for basically terrible statements about women. I almost said shitting on women, but then you'd be like literally?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never know today's age.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Cleveland steamer. Hi, Justina. Welcome back to the show. And in the other room is Justina, our faithful producer who's not producing this time.
She actually is always our first listener every week.
Yeah, she's doing the next project that we have to go record.
She's always our first listener because she has to listen to it the first time we cut it.
Yeah, that's true. Now that she's in this office, she doesn't really have a way out. How does it make you feel, Justina?
No Way Out. Wasn't that a movie?
It was a movie. Yeah. Okay. She likes it.
This is actually Panic Room. Welcome.
It is. Well, if you knew what was going on, it sure is. Yeah.
Also, that's the extent of our political knowledge, by the way.
No, that was as far as it goes.
Yeah.
Like, I literally don't have any more than that.
No, me either. I barely knew what organizations they work for.
All I know is that we have a great series of jokes for people who wear spandex, which we assume are roadies. And we have those. We have not yet cultivated until today. We had not yet cultivated a gravel bike joke.
No, that's it.
Until that very moment.
Yeah, they're like mountain bikers that want to vote left, but they don't have to. They don't want to make the full commitment.
They're probably more like mountain bikers who care about things.
Oh yeah, they actually know what's going on.
More than beer.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I know some gravel bikers, and they're probably not left.
Bruce is listening to this, and I don't know what Bruce is. Bruce is independent, but Bruce is a cool gravel biker.
We don't care if you're left or right. Just don't be a dick.
That's all that really matters.
How about that? Be left.
That's
be
for the
right.
mountain bikers. That's what we do. We're the dicks.
Yeah, we're the dicks.
So as always, let's since we've talked a lot about dicks and being a dick, let's go into our sponsors.
Yeah.
Seems appropriate.
I guess.
Because none of them will treat you like none of them are dicks. They're all very pleasant people.
No, they're amazing people.
Except for this guy.
Yeah, and he will tattoo a dick on you if you want.
There it is. Can you just go ahead? You've already teed it up. Just take your Kevin Black
Kevin
dick plug.
Black. I love making Kevin Black dick jokes. I don't know. Maybe I do. That was the first one. Get ready. It's coming down the line,
sentence,
Kevin.
when you go back and listen to this, that entire sentence is so...
Kevin Black dick joke.
It just sounds bad, but his name is actually Kevin Black.
Yeah,
it reminds me of that Bloodhound Gang song. I'm not black like Barry White. I'm white like Frank Black is. Yeah. It's that kind of scenario.
Yeah. So anyway, but if you want to get a nice, beautiful, awesome self-portrait of your wang tattooed on you, Kevin Black can do that.
Do you remember the movie Superbad?
Yes.
That's all I can think about right now is a young Kevin Black who's already sleeved. Like even as a child, he just came out sleeved. And as he's sitting there, he's sleeved and he's just drawing dicks. One day, I'm just doing that. If you guys haven't seen Superbad, that's an older movie. It's highly offensive. Just
it's
FYI.
Beautifully done though. I think it's awesome. I love that.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's cringy anymore now. It's been so long since I've seen it. I mean,
I don't know.
It's probably on the edge of it.
I know that there's people in that movie that are not those people anymore.
That's fair. Fair enough. Touche. Touche.
Just go watch it.
Yeah, if you have a chance, head over to manofwartattoo.com and see some of the work that Kevin and his compadres do. We don't drop their names only because we don't want to associate them with how terrible we make Kevin sound sometimes.
Right.
In reality, though, if you haven't seen his work, go check it out. Kevin's legit. And especially if you're a mountain biker, you're going to have somebody that relates to you immediately out of the gate. Mm-hmm. So it makes it easy. Kevin's work's fantastic. That said, one of the things that really helps Kevin, I'm trying to segue hard here. What kind of helps Kevin get through things when he falls down and has to get back up again? It's because he's rolling in the dirt. And at Dirt Coaster Academy,
That was good.
you're
Not going to roll in the dirt.
I don't
They're
know
going
what
to
it
teach you
means.
how to. If I get knocked down, I get up again. That's all I could think about when you were saying that.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
Chumbawamba
That
was
works.
going.
That's
deep.
her jam. I think that's her favorite song. Can you name more than one Chumbawamba song though?
Like the title of it, no. But if the album was on, I could sing all.
Wait, let me understand this. So Justina, in case you guys can't hear this at home, Justina is admitting that she actually first owns the Chumbawamba album.
No. I did. It was stolen from my car when Josh and I were dating. They took all my CDs.
So she lost her Chumbawamba CD, but can admittedly tell you that there are more than one song that she enjoys listening to.
And
All of them.
that's the end of tub thumping.
That was it. Speaking of tub thumping, I don't know what that means.
I don't either.
Is it a sexual
Probably
thing?
offensive.
Nobody does. That's the great.
I hope it's not a sexual thing.
I do too.
That's
Because
new
I'm going to use it to segue in. If you
that would
haven't
be
had a
great
chance to
trail
head over-
name.
That's a
Tub thumping is a
that
good trail name.
Yeah. Well, we got to look up what it means though.
No, we got some very other Urban Dictionary terms already out there.
Our entire trail system is Urban Dictionary terms. But if you haven't gone over to look up
There's
Urban
another
Dictionary,
one, but
if
it's
you
got-
look up on Urban Dictionary, I can't even. There's nothing
focus
I can
right
do
now.
right now to back myself out of this situation.
There's a,
We have gone too
Yeah.
far in an attempt at segue and it's backfired.
There's something that we did at Bogue Chitto this weekend when we were hanging out with the Dirt Coaster Academy folks,
Dale going for the save.
and I just can't repeat it because I'm laughing, but I can't do it.
You're not
Even
helping
though
me.
it was, it's actually on a public sign here in Mobile, so maybe I can. It's like literally on a sign.
This has me terrified.
I
don't even know what he's
that
about
Todd
to
is
say.
listening to this right now, and he's giggling like he might have to pull over his truck because he's laughing so
Okay,
hard.
well,
right now.
that makes me even more scared because Todd has not been on the show for a reason, and when he does come on, we've talked about it. It's going to look like he's from To Catch a Predator.
He's gonna be blurred.
He's
out.
going to be blurred. We're going to lower his deep voice anyway. And it'll be like
He works for
"Well,
MIT.
I do like to put lotion in the basket.
I created the basket.
And that's why we say go to dirtcoasteracademy.com. I'm just kidding. Toby and Nina are wonderful people. They have a great sense of humor, and they understand that we purposely have fun.
And for real though, if you haven't been to Bogue Chitto, the pump track is there, and what they've done at the park is badass.
So one of the
it's
things that's
awesome.
cool is that like when they have classes there, the upside of that is that's a lot of bonus stuff. So if you're in the area and have a chance to go there, you can head over to dirtcoasteracademy.com. You can go to the classes there, where I think are pretty cool. The other side of that, though, is they are up in Bentonville now, which is even better because obviously you're going to have a lot more variety of trails to ride. So if you head over, again, to dirtcoasteracademy.com, we're making a bunch of shenanigans here, but the reality of it is we believe in it. They've been a sponsor since almost day one-ish, and so we appreciate what they've done, and we appreciate what they do for the community, both of them together collectively. I mean, Nina, in fairness to Nina, sometimes we give Toby a big push because we like enduro riding, but Nina is out there racing. She is in it. So she's not just somebody that's out just putting up, this auspice of being some epic rider and whatever. Nina legitimately is winning stuff. So she is the real deal too. So shout out to both of them.
Absolutely. And I assume that because they're so good, they are powered by Lucky Shot Coffee.
It just becomes such a thing. Shannon, we love you. Lucky Shot Coffee is delicious.
It's fantastic.
We still are going to attempt to get macaroons. Shout out. What is her name again?
Pipe Dreams.
Pipe Dreams. Lisa at Pipe Dreams. She's a local macaroon maker.
Also not listening, I'm sure.
Definitely not listening. But I still want to do what we talked about is like
Yeah.
get some Lucky Shot coffee and make like custom Lucky Shot macaroons.
For sure. And
Maybe for the next race.
Shannon's also dabbling in some art
sweet.
stuff. So she's been drawing dogs lately. And dude, it's
They're legit?
legit.
Yeah?
Yeah. Her I don't know what her Instagram is for her dog art, but I know it's
Maybe
a
she
hobby.
should
of
get
hers.
those to put on like the bags.
Oh,
like
dude,
that would be awesome.
The
to
art that she's doing is you can't. You see, she'll put it next to the actual picture and slide back and forth, and you can't. It's ridiculous. It's
Hell
awesome.
yeah. I'll take that all day.
So that's just another avenue that Shannon is. Her artistic abilities go into the coffee as well, and it shows.
Yeah. Good for her.
It's not just the artisan blend.
Right. She's making it legit on that side of things. I do want to say they're not officially a sponsor, but I talk about them a lot. I got to shout out my boys at Jefe Paletas yet again. You're still keto right now?
I dabble in between.
So just so you know, he sent us custom popsicles. We now have a maple bacon donut popsicle.
Yikes.
It is ridiculous.
That sounds awesome.
It's loaded with bacon. It's amazing.
Probably cheat on keto for that.
It's worth a cheat. So anyway, shout out to Jefe Paletas. We're gonna end up doing a rebellion version. I don't know what it'll be yet. Like,
It's got to be black. Can we make it black?
yeah, he'll do whatever.
That'd be sweet.
Yeah, it'd be cool. So if you have a chance, head over there. They're local only, so this only applies to people in the immediate listening area of Mobile, Alabama. But it is a fantastic place. Or if you find a place that has paletas, I highly suggest you go over to them. If you're scared of that kind of thing and like scared to try new foods, they're totally worth it. It's super tasty stuff. Also, we want to shout out for, I know this will date this episode, so just skip past this and enjoy the laughs for what it is. But we will be overly annoyed if we don't shout out that Bump and Grind is coming up for Chase Draper.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Those dates, you got those dates? I know them if you don't.
I don't. I do know it's coming up, though, in June, the beginning of June.
It's June 9th, 10th, and 11th.
There you go.
There's a promo out there for it. So they will have pre-rides and shuttles on the 9th. On the 10th, they will do a kids race, the enduro, and a short track. Mm-hmm. And then on the 11th, they'll have an XC race. It's pretty cool. The big lineup stuff.
I know our homies from Fox are going to be there doing some shuttle days, some
shout out to the
suspension
Fox and gangs. Yeah, allegedly it's going to be pretty rad. Sounds like, to me, for our style of doing things, the 9th and 10th is legitimate fun times, like working hard, riding a little bit. And then it seems like the hangover day on Sunday is great to watch some other people ride down the mountain.
All those guys going to XC style.
Yeah, that's exactly correct.
Let's let the derelicts come in here and then the pros come in.
That's
on Sunday.
exactly right.
That's fine, though. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it looks
I'm
fun.
here for it. I'll pack my tent up while they're going by.
We are going to try I think I'm going to be there to film, but we're also going to try and attempt. I think Justina might even come up. Obviously, Dale will be there. We're going to attempt to set up the podcast and do some podcast from there.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun just to go up. Oh, you're not racing though?
I don't know. I should go up and try to defend my second place I got last year.
You got second place?
I didn't show up, and there was only one other person in my age group. So yeah, I got second. I signed up.
But didn't he give you a DFN?
Yeah, because he's a dick.
DNF. Thank you.
Did
Day
not
for night.
finish.
Did not finish.
And I wanted DNS. Did not start. And I want to look like a bitch.
Yeah.
But I'm a
you
bitch.
still got second place.
Yeah, that's right. I still didn't get my prizes.
Can I go and sign up and race against you?
I don't.
You can identify as whatever you want. 40-year-old man is what you want to be. Go for it. Let's do this thing, Justina.
You got to be in the 40-year-old man category. I think that's hilarious. You go, and I will support you 100%.
You got to stand up to pee all weekend, though.
We just talked about that. We just had a whole conversation about that because that's the things we talk about apparently in the office is standing up to pee.
The good thing about this conversation with Drew and I is we haven't even seen each other for like a week. We've only talked like once for 20 minutes. So you guys are going to get the whole normal early morning Drew and Dale conversations.
Yeah, that's exactly what, and just teetered to the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes.
So I'm starting to think that maybe this entire episode might be a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Who knows what's going to happen? It feels like we just came out of the gate swinging. That said, that was my question for you is like, you've been writing for a while. Mm-hmm. Is there anything that stands out to you as like the most epic mistake or a huge mistake you made? Now, I'll give you an example of one of mine.
Okay.
It was late. I had just started writing again. And I don't know. Sarah was bitching at me about our garage. Like, there's your shit's everywhere, which is a load of shit because her shit's literally everywhere. Like she just stores bags of human feces in our garage. I'm just kidding. But she does have all her like sign business and all this stuff is like in our garage. Like it's no longer. And so I have a little path to my little station where I have my bike set up. And she was like, I need you to do some of the bikes that's getting out of control. And so I had a stand and I just didn't have a rack yet. And so I ended up buying these things I saw that look like they mount to the wall and you just put your tire in them. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll be honest with you. If I rode road bikes with really skinny tires, these things would have been great. But you couldn't even fit a 2.4 in them.
So now they hold your broom?
No, I smashed them. I got so mad because I think I paid $25 for them. What an idiot.
It's even better.
And I bought the shit off Facebook. So I'm admitting my fallacies up front. So the mistake was pretty stupid of me, but that's one of my mistakes. Do you have a mistake? Anything in that space?
I don't know. I mean, I make a mistake about every time I go to ride of some kind. Like today, we forgot my water bottle, so there's a mistake. But damn, and I forgot it again twice. I'm riding twice today, and this is the second time I forgot my water bottles.
I tell you what works. You can put a Dr. Pepper bottle full of water in there, and it holds in pretty good.
And also looks super athletic.
Do you remember? You probably don't know this. Did you know that Mobile was the number one. We consumed more soft drinks than any other city in the United States. Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, I didn't know that, but now that I walk around, I can tell.
Right. Hey, wait now. But in that same space of drinking that many space,
that's crazy.
Said the word space. Damn it. In the same region, same area, same idea, whatever it is. Coca-Cola tested a sports drink here called Nautilus.
Really?
Have you ever heard of Nautilus?
No.
It was a carbonated Gatorade.
Wow. Why didn't that take off?
Really?
I mean, I'd chug it.
Yeah, so you're hot and sweaty, and then you just chug down a bubbly Gatorade?
I mean, I do that with Monsters now.
Oh, my God. It was brutal. I guess back then, now maybe that's the norm, but it was disgusting. And so, like, it only was here. There was Nautilus machines. Like, we were a full pilot test market.
That's crazy.
And it was like one of the weirdest Coca-Cola, at least that I know of. That was like the story back then. I remember being on the news.
That was their biggest mistake.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That was a good mistake.
We could be that mistake. That's another callback to Superbad.
Oh, yeah.
That's twice.
So I'm trying to, I've been like thinking, I mean, besides my wrecks, like I know those wrecks and I know the mistakes I made, but like.
But what are those? Let's hold on for 1 second. When you have those, what do you mean by mistakes in the wreck side of things?
Well,
when
like,
you have a mistaken a wreck.
When my shoulder,
wreck,
my shoulder injury, death to myself, I was just riding with my wife and kids and decided I was going to be stupid without. And
like you did a thing?
Yeah, it was before the South Alabama turndown. I was still a prince. I wasn't quite the king.
He was vying for his kingship.
Man, and I wiped out, knocked myself out in front of my kids, freaked everybody out.
No shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Where was it? South?
Yeah, it was when it was just like I'm slowly going with them. They were a lot younger. I mean, it was right at the beginning of COVID too. Hadn't been to the hospital since 2003. Had to walk in there by myself, scared.
Oh yeah,
lonely
that's
little
not good.
boy.
That's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, it was.
What was the mistake of that? Was it the mistake that you failed to secure the maneuver, or is the mistake that you let your ego get the better of you?
Yeah, and it wasn't even my ego because they weren't even there. They couldn't see where I was. Like it was just I'm with them. I needed an adrenaline pump real quick. Like we're right by the playground. Let me just hit this real quick and pop back up. I didn't pop back up. I mean, I did, but then I tried to ride out and I was clipped in, fell over again on the same shoulder, clipped in between trees. Couldn't get my feet unclipped. It was a disaster.
Oh my God.
So yeah, that was a big mistake.
That's a pretty big one.
Yeah. Oh well.
I my number one mistake, I'm trying to think of like the riding crashes that I've had. Like most of mine I'm sure they were mistake driven, but they weren't a conscious. Yeah. I don't think I have any from doing anything like super ego driven. That's not really my style, but
my ego drives me to do a lot of shit.
Oh yeah, listen, I know. I see it.
Dude, it happens
see it all the time. Mine does in business, just not in the writing side.
Yeah, that's what's crazy. When we go, like when I go to work with you, like when we're on set, like we're different, we're opposite.
Yeah.
Like I'm just the one just chilling.
Right.
Like doing what I'm staying in my lane.
And it's funny to me because people are like, oh my God, that's like a $4,000 camera. I'm like, I don't give a shit. Let's do it. Yeah. Like I've broken so many GoPros. I smash them. I don't care. They're $700 or $800. That's not cheap. I get it. But at the same time, it's like, if it got a cool shot.
Yeah. Like
there's a shot on somewhere on one of the reels where we clamped the GoPro to a, was it that, the bar, but it's the, damn it, barbell, whatever it is. Whatever it is. And the guy's doing clings. Is that this?
It's a barbell.
Is that a cling?
The thing he's doing is a cling.
Yeah, he's doing a cling and the camera's mounted to it. But when he clings it, it free spins. So the camera spins, but when he snatches it, the camera locks onto his face. And it was one of the most badass shots. Awesome. So we did it twice. And I was like, just one more. And then he does it and he drops it. And the camera falls right underneath the weight and smashes it.
Actually,
but the card doesn't matter. So I got it.
That's awesome. That shot probably is sweet.
Yeah, but that's a mistake that turned out well.
Actually, if you're listening to this and you've ever sat down on a bicycle, your biggest single mistake is saying one more time.
Now we can actually say this with confidence. This is not a plug back to them. We literally saw it happen.
Yes, everybody.
And maybe we won't say who it is, but I literally experienced, and people will figure it out.
I've experienced it.
You experienced it. But we collectively, as a we podcast, watched someone say, I'm done. Nah, just one more time.
Yep.
And that ride resulted in a break.
Yeah. It's happened a lot.
It does.
It happens to more than one person.
Yeah. Todd Hall is the king of that shiz, man.
I think it just happened to Todd the other day.
I think the fucker thinks it. I think he thinks about it and he's
like, this
one
is my
more
last
time, Crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to make my last time. I won't have to be able to walk after this.
I wonder if he would attribute, he had a pretty, I would call it, obviously there's a mistake related to it. Todd's very analytical, so I'm wondering, Todd Hall is, Todd Golf, I don't know. Todd Hall is very analytical, so I'm wondering if he would attribute this to a mistake, chalk it up to a mistake, or chalk it up to like an error on his behalf. But he had one where he knocked himself out cold, destroyed his helmet.
Yep.
And then his watch, I guess, mine doesn't do that.
No, he called him.
No. His watch alerted his wife, and he woke up in time to stop that.
Okay.
And then called Aaron, another guy that rides with us, and said, "Hey, I just had a bad wreck. I don't know where I am. Come get me." He knocked himself out, just brutal, right? And then Aaron shows up, and Todd's walking up the hill. He's like, "Hey, where's your bike?" He's like, "Dude, you just called me." Like, it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But I think Todd went back and wanted to know what the mistake was, and I think he would admit that it was a riding mistake. Like, he was trying to manual off this little ramp and instead went too far one direction or something.
The biggest mistake is he's doing that shit by himself with no one else there.
Yeah, that's probably the bigger. I guess I could say one huge mistake, but it's still it's an error of my own. Was when I first got pedals that were nice, deep, beautiful slashers. I was sitting in the driveway. I popped a tire because I rode the curb wrong. This was on my hardtail. And I go back to the house and I learned to reseat a tire, but I hadn't done it in years, so I had to remember how to do it. And I'm like reseating the tire and I get everything done. And it's been a minute. And so I get it and I'm all happy and I go get on the bike and I'm riding and I'm just pushing, I'm hopping on it to make sure it's seated correctly. And it was a tube anyway, so it's like not like it was that hard. And my foot slips off and the pedal goes in and it cuts me all the way to the bone. Woo. And there's no blood because it's so reactive that I'm like, oh, that really hurts. And I look down and there's no blood dripping down my leg. It's just fat and bone because I got that deep. And then my wife sees it and she's like, huh, like that. And then
my wife does that same noise when I give her the fat bone. She's like, why is the dog bone in the bed? And I don't get it.
Oh, there it is. So I guess that's but I don't know what my mistake was there. I think mine typically comes from buying shit, thinking that I know what the hell I'm doing on stuff. Like, I still have a set of TRP brakes. That might be a mistake. I have no idea how to install those. Like, that's beyond I can fuck with electronics and do some shit. But if you ask me to do mechanical stuff, even if it's simple machine based, it's too simple for me. My brain can't. I'm going to convolute the shit out of it just to make it worse.
Yeah, but I think that's the part of it, right? Like, building a bicycle is whenever we're doing it, it's not a car. It's not like something crazy. It's like, we can figure it out, right? Like, I mean, maybe that's the allure of bicycles is like, I don't need somebody else to show me how to do it. Maybe.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. But I think that, like, the longer we think about mistakes, the more you think, like, damn, maybe those were not mistakes, but they're making me, like, learn. Like, you're learning from these things. Like, yeah, they're mistakes, like, hey, I effed up, but maybe it's like, oh, I'm being philosophical here, but like maybe it's like, oh, well, shit, I bought a hardtail first. I only had it for 2 months. When all my friends said just buy a full suspension, that was a mistake, a waste of money. I lost $500, and here we are buying Right. So like I know people make that mistake a lot, but I mean, when you commit to a hobby, it's hard.
Yeah.
When I can spend $1,000, which is a lot, but spend $1,000 or $4,000.
Yeah.
So.
Or keep escalating. I mean, that's the only other thing and I would never call my purchase of my Gorilla Gravity bike a mistake by any means, but I set a budget for myself and that's a clear mistake. Right. Instead of adhering to that budget, I allowed myself to be like, well, just $500 more, just $500 more. And by the time I did that, like 7 or 8 more times, I have a $7,000 bike, right? Because what the hell am I thinking going that far? I didn't need to. And unfortunately, I bought at the peak of the pandemic. Not peak, but it was pretty.
Because now when you look at bike prices, you're like,
oh, dude.
Now it's like, oh god, I could sell my bike and buy 3.
Yeah. The thing is you can't. I guess you just got to live with the idea. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you paid for it. I've gotten enjoyment. I love my bike. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Right now, I'm happy with it. Let's see later on. I'm struggling with my e-bike a little bit just because of the way it fits, but that has nothing to do with the bike. The bike's fine. Took me a while to get used to it. I thought I'd made a mistake with that one. I think I was going to actually sell it at one point.
Right.
But I kind of came back around. The reason I was bringing it up is I was just thinking about riding the other day is like a lot of times I just go out and I'll go to the Reb or anywhere really, and I just want to get pedals in. It's just like just clear my head. I'll get some downhill lines in, but I'm just out by myself, not doing anything crazy. And I thought, man, the only downside of being out here by myself is a potential mistake. And this is where this whole line of thinking came from, is like Todd. If I send it too big, if I'm out here really trying to practice sending it, I'm at risk of like severe danger, right? Just because I'm by myself. And there's weirdos in the woods.
Yeah.
Like if you knocked yourself out wrong, you're in Deliverance too.
Yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
With coyotes dragging you there. Like
that's true.
banjos, everything.
Yeah.
The whole nine.
So then I was like, I just got to be thoughtful about what I'm doing. Like, is this mistake? Is this a mistake that's worth it? It's kind of where it's going. And so instead, I think,
is it a beautiful mistake or not?
It's a beautiful mistake. I don't know. But I thought it was kind of interesting. Like purchase wise, have you made a purchase one that you feel like is a bad one?
No, though. I mean, no. I guess I'm good. I've grown to love my bike. I didn't love it the first time I rode it, but no, I love it now. Actually, somebody rode it at Bogue Chitto Sunday.
Oh, really?
He's like, oh, I ride a Meta Hardtail, or he had a Common Cell Absolute dirt jumper.
Oh, yeah.
And he's launching those big, huge kickers and doing one-handers and knack-knacks and all kinds of crazy shit. He's like, hey, do you mind if I ride your bike? I just want to see what it feels like. I'm like, sure, man. So he's just launched it. There will be no video evidence of it ever happening. And Pat goes, well, he just bukkakied your bike, so
That's
there you
fantastic.
go. Take that back.
But he sent it though.
Oh, dude, he launched it. So there's proof that my bike I'm holding the bike back, essentially.
I think we're all holding our bikes back.
Because I was like, oh, dude, there's no way I can hit those big kickers on this bike. It would just compress so much. 25 feet in the air. It's fine. It looked great in the air. So shiny.
I don't know, man. That's there's one thing. I guess the biggest mistake is when you let all that shit get in your head at the end of the day. So the biggest mistake you can make is like letting the fear, letting a past wreck, letting that control you. Because once that happens, it's over. You might as well stop riding. Like if you're starting to really dwell on that, just get off the bike, because that what's going to happen next is not going to be good.
Well, I did say this weekend when we were at Bogue Chitto and all the jumps are everywhere. I said that my skill level is probably greater than what my maturity allows.
Right, that's a good quote.
I'm skillfully, I can do probably all of it.
Right.
My maturity's like, no, just chill. Like, do what you're comfortable with. Like, there's a level of, like, I'll go uncomfortable going down a hill and like a trail speed, like enduro stuff. I'll be uncomfortable as hell. But if it's a jump, like, I don't know. Yeah. There's a style that I just don't love.
Yeah, and part of that, though, is I think we understand the consequences of that.
Right.
Even though it's probably way more dangerous going downhill fast.
Yeah.
Than casing a jump.
Yeah, hitting a tree fast. Yeah. We talked about that. Todd kept saying all day, he's like, yeah, but guys, if we lived here all the time, like, look, I progressed just that day. Like, Sunday was the first time I'd ever gone off the wall. Like, usually I ride down off the wall, but I jumped off the wall, and I was super stoked about that. But that was the first time I had done that. And Todd's like, listen, if you did this every day, or this is where you rode all the time, you would have to do that just so that your body stays like you want to do more. Yeah,
and I think that's part of anywhere. Like, I think that's the guys that ride, like, who did we meet? We met somebody. Oh, that guy, that strange military guy that came in, the Coastie guy that came and rode with us from the P&W.
Right.
Very complimentary, very nice. I saw him wreck. He crashed right in front of me, but it's because he hit sand.
Right.
And he wasn't used to it. But that guy, I don't remember his name, but shout out to whoever you are. If you're listening,
out to that guy.
You're cool.
Ghost of
But he was a P&W guy. Right. And so, like, the conversation I had with him, like, it felt like it was, hey, you're on our property, you're seeing what we have. And it wasn't like I need my ego stroked from him. It was more like, so what is the dramatic difference? And he's like, steepness. I mean, it's just everything's steeper, and there's which negates natural physics need to be bigger. You just can't. If you're going that fast and the jump doesn't offset, then suddenly you just have this incredible amount of speed that you're braking, or the berms aren't deep enough, or whatever it is. And so it was an interesting bit of dialogue I hadn't thought about. And then, our joking Walk the Rebellion situation up in Oak Mountain, same vibe, right? It's just that if you have those spaces, you have access to it. But that's also the joy of it. The real thing is, like, I like it when, and I appreciate what Chase did, is he identified that after a while, like, that was above our pay grade. So then he took us on some fun shit. Yeah. But I think that's the thing, is like, if somebody comes into town and you're going to hang out with them, or you see a new rider and you're going to take the 5 minutes to say hello to them and not make fun of them to their face, then at least give them a chance to, like, go with them, like, show them around, show them something fun, find out. So you can at least let them have a good time, because most riders can ride anywhere and have some kind of fun. Yeah.
Have you noticed, like, and I think you do it, I do it, but like anytime somebody comments like, hey, I'm coming to Mobile, I'd like to ride, and we're like, hey, Just come meet you at South.
Yeah.
We'll give you the backdoor ticket.
Yeah. I think about it a lot, and then I'm like, oh, but I don't know this guy.
Yeah, I don't know this guy.
Maybe they're cool. Maybe they're cool. But it's like meet at South first, and it's always like, hey, we have a trail. There's a guy in town, maybe, and they show up, and you're like, he's cool. Like Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, shout out to Scott. Scott's like our favorite guy. Scott won't come ride the Reb yet because I don't know why. Because Scott's Scott. But I really like Scott. Yeah. And it turns out it's the same way. Half the people out there turned out to be like, oh, this person's cool as shit. Like, come on out, hang out with us.
Yeah, Pat,
that's all it is.
Pat too.
Yeah, Pat was one of those. It's Pat for sure.
Pat's only got a couple more weeks though.
He's leaving?
Nope, he won't ride when it's too hot. He is the most dramatic. I tell him that.
Where's
all
that
the time.
sticker?
He is so dramatic.
We need to give Pat one of those. I got some on my desk.
He's the most dramatic one I got. I know.
We have these admit it that was dramatic stickers.
He
that
needs one on his bike for sure. Because he texted on Sunday at like 6 and he's like, I'm on my way over to your house, see you in about 4 hours. Like coming from Fairhope. Like, oh yeah. First world problems.
You don't have a dirt church?
No, we went to
that's right, you booked
Chitto.
So I think it's something to be said of just enjoying the ride and trying not to let the mistakes mount up and get inside of your brain and just kind of staying focused on those things. I guess the most recent mistake I can make of and then talk about was I went to ride V Hollow, which I will tell you is absolutely, it's just fantastic. It really is. It sounds like I'm going to attempt to have somebody on from V Hollow. They agreed to maybe like a guy named Scott to come on and talk about it. He's one of the I guess the caretakers there. I don't know what you call it. There's a bike shop there, like a little pro shop. They have rental bikes and all that stuff. And they have some gear, but these guys help maintain. It is stunning. So when you roll in, there's this, you have to ride to the bike shop, like on a private trail kind of vibe. Apparently it's owned by the Clayton Holmes family. Clayton Holmes is pretty big. Like
they're like the D.R. Horton of Tennessee.
Yeah, but I think
probably.
Like even in Alabama and stuff, they're pretty big. Yeah,
they're big.
And so that family, it's almost like the Waltons and such. Like a family was into mountain biking. They had this private land. They turned it in. It's in Townsend, Tennessee. They turned it in. A lot of the trails, it's made by 4 or 5 different builders, I think. We'll get all this when we do the interview, but some of them is by Shaggy that did the stuff at Oak Mountain.
Tails at Oak Mountain and the Lightning revamp.
Yep, that's it.
Cool.
And so it rides really well. Like some of his trails are great. So we rode there twice. So I was in Gatlinburg with my family. My friend, Mr. Pickles, was with me. Unfortunately, Pickles was not in great shape, and those climbs. Also,
biggest mistake most riders make is not training without
100%. He knows it, though. Right. Like, he's one of those guys that knows it. So we end up riding up. The dude, whatever's this guy's name, it's Mike or Scott. It's just some general name. Michael Scott. I don't know, but it's some general name.
Michael Bay Scott.
He looked at me and Pickles, and I'm pudged out a little more than normal right now. I've been enjoying my life a little bit more, like not worrying about the diet as much.
Traveling.
Yeah. And then Mr. Pickles has not been on his bike for a while, so we're a little pudge factor. That's cool. But the guy was one of the classic cyclists. He rides a medium sized bike because he's smaller. He has no fat on him. He probably drinks 86 PBRs a day and it doesn't even phase him. Can't gain weight.
Bug.
He's bug. That's exactly right. And so the guy looks at me and Jim and he's like, well, I was like, how long does it take to get up? Just because we only had the first day we got there, we only had like an hour before the wives were like, you have to come to dinner or whatever it was. He was like, oh, well, I'm in pretty good shape. So it takes me about 20 minutes to get up there. And I'm like, okay. All right, I see what you did there. Like you just passive aggressive me. That's cool. Let's see what happens. And so and we weren't on e-bikes. Mistake. Yeah, we were on our Amish bikes. So I was trying to ride with Jim. Jim was way out of shape. He was walking a lot, and so it ended up taking 35 minutes to get up to the top. So the guy wasn't wrong. So we got one ride down. Yeah. By the time we were done, and so I rode it, and I was like, "This is a play," and it was super fun. It was gnarly in spots. It was great. It wasn't even a blue line. It was literally just one of their flow lines. But it was aggressive for me. There's a lot of switchbacks on it. It was fun. So we wrote it down. So then we go back the next day because we get some more time. So this time I get there and Jim's really good about this. He's like, hey dude, I'm so out of shape. Just leave me. I'll be fine. I was like, all right, cool. Our phones work. So we're okay. At least I can call you. So I take off 21 minutes. Fuck that guy. And welcome to the show. Whenever you come on.
Hey, pal, you want to IKO him that shit? So,
I was like, I'm gone. And I rode up and I rode all the way to the top, like the tippity top. So I went further than I did the first day. The first day is like a halfway point, 35 minutes because I was waiting on Jim. And then I bombed down it and it was gloriously hard. Like it was great. It was brutally hard. A lot of off cameras, several rock drops that I could see him coming, so I was okay with him. One of them, I was like, oh, I want to do it again because I felt like I could ride it better. And then the next time, for some reason, I was like, man, my bike is riding stiff. Yeah, I rode the whole fucking thing locked out.
Yeah, that's
all the
even
way.
better. That's
and
what
so that
you
was
get
a mistake
for
that I
sprinting.
made.
That's what you get for sprinting to the top.
That's exactly it.
I'm gonna lock this out and sprint.
So then the next time it took 24 minutes, but I was unlocked.
Oh.
And so I rode all the way up and then sent it down, and it was like, those trails are legit. The downside was I did not get to ride a lot of the other stuff just because we ran out of time. And again, Pickles is definitely not the guy for some of that stuff. Though he handles rocks better than me because he lives in Pittsburgh or in, where's he?
He lives in Cleveland.
Cleveland area. So that area,
Cleveland
somewhere in there.
rocks.
He has
Cleveland
like actual
rocks.
shit to ride off of. But it's good. And so I wanted to at least shout out. My mistake there was, being locked out. But if you haven't been there, I think it's a fantastic place to go ride. You could spend a good solid day there. There's an entire skills park that is, I've never seen one that nice. Like I've ridden a lot of places, been fortunate to, and that one is absolutely amazing. Maybe because it's newish.
Right.
And then they have a jump park that's world class too. Like it's way above my pay grade. There's a dude up there on a camber just sending it.
Wow.
It was sick. Sick.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was good.
I also like the more we do this podcast and the further we get away from the beginning of it.
Yeah.
We're like the most not zero drop anymore because we actually know the builders of trails and shit.
I know.
We're turning into the stink bike people.
I know. We can't be the stink
We can't
bikers.
No, but it makes it like we're getting more connected to the mountain bike community because we were like on the outside just looking in.
Yeah.
Like, hey, can we come in your pool? Oh, we won't pee in it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right. I know, but then there's times where I feel like we just drop turds right on in there, just big old pink turds, just right into the pool.
Yeah.
And again, there's nothing wrong with
We
that.
don't care. We will be your liaison to the real mountain bike worlds. And we will come back to the regulars.
The truth is I think those guys are probably fairly authentic for where they are. The reality of it is,
Absolutely.
we just in something that the authenticity here is like, hey man, you got to just really love the people you're around because
Yeah.
you're not going to be some epic.
Well, to be honest,
I thought you were going to say to be fair. And I was
be
gonna be like, to be fair.
we created what wasn't anything.
Yeah.
Like everybody likes to tell me all the time about how great mountain biking was 20 years ago.
Right.
I don't see any of those people, so it must not have been that great.
And I would call it trail riding.
Yeah. No offense to anybody that might still be riding, but it must not have been that awesome. We're building a community, not a bike trail. It's a big difference.
Well, that's what we've talked about down here. And I think, again, the reason I love talking to the audience and talking to the people that listen to the show is that most of them are our friends, or I consider them friends. If you listen to the show, you know us pretty well. Might be a one-sided relationship. But the other side of it is I think it's pretty rad that a lot of folks, when we talk about it, it's more identification of like, hey, I'm not being left out. So it is that though we may know all these things, we love to learn about this stuff because we want to pass it along to somebody else. You don't have to know who these trail builders are.
No.
But we want to know because I love to see that guy's, I like Shaggy's style is fun to see. And then if I can take that and figure out how to use some of it back home, that's even better. Everybody benefits. Or if it's in a conversation and you're telling somebody, I want people to be excited about mountain biking in spots as I am. I think it's a good thing.
I think it's awesome. This podcast has been a portal to a lot of things. Like,
Yeah, of course.
I mean, obviously the joke is now like Dale always tells everybody that he has a podcast, which is fine. And I'm cool with it. But like, this weekend we ran into Brian. Shout out Brian. He's the president of the Misfits in Mississippi's
Nice.
IMBO chapter in Biloxi. But he said he listens to every episode, and I was like, "That's Todd." He goes, "That's Todd, the Todd." I was like, "That's the Todd," and it was just funny because Todd was riding his bike. I was like, "Yep, that's the Todd."
Did we buy a bike from him?
Yeah.
Oh, Justina, that's the guy we're talking about. The guy you bought a bike. We bought you a bike for you.
You.
Justina's gonna.
Watch out.
She asked me the other day, so this is a true story. This happened just today, I'm sorry. Justina, we had a former employee, and when they left, they were our licensed drone pilot. And so Justina was like, in 2 weeks, studied for a drone test and passed with the highest grade I've ever seen.
Whoa, Justina.
Yeah, she crushed it.
Fly me to the moon.
She can't.
Sure.
She's a good drone pilot, but she's not like risky.
She's good at taking tests.
She's good at taking tests is fact. So then I was talking about riding down at Oak Mountain, and I was like, there's XC races, you and Jennifer can come up, hang out and watch and do all this stuff. And she goes, I got 2 weeks. I can get ready for it and I'll just race and beat everybody. And I was like, well, she shows up with her Specialized, her little hardtail. It's got 3 gears.
You'll be all right. Just don't shift.
Yeah, you're gonna be riding it. You're gonna be sending it full.
That would be funny. Hey, what do you got to lose?
An arm.
Nah.
My type ability.
Yeah, we can't.
I'm just gonna have to have surgery.
Listen, no more surgeries. Listen, I will not even. If you need surgery and you work here, I'll cut it off for you. That's what we're doing from this point forward.
We're doing a trailer in the middle of
Drew, yeah, that's a long story. Drew Hall's amputee service. I'll just chop it.
Ooh.
That's my
Lorena
tagline.
Bobbitt style.
Huh?
Lorena Bobbitt style.
Oh, Jesus, no. I can't get into that.
Also, this podcast is just on the rails, barely.
Oh, I don't even know if it's holding on to much anymore. Is there anything else we can talk about? We talked about bump and grind. We satisfied Chase's plug for this one until the event's over.
His plug is in other orifices. Guaranteed.
Chase, don't call me. He's gonna hear this. I'll get a text. You'll get a text.
We're gonna get a phone call.
Yeah, I'll get it. He knows we care. That event looks pretty cool. Again, Z Hollow is pretty rad up there. If you haven't had a chance to go up there, it's not that far. It's in Gatlinburg. I'm still looking for. I still would like to maybe do a ride. I try and go north in the summer at some point. So I would love to do a meetup. If anybody's in the Chattanooga area, Mr. Pickles has talked about coming back down. He's more of an XC guy, but he's cool with whatever. But I would love to go up there, and I'd like to ride Raccoon Mountain. I've never ridden it. Like, I go up there all the time, and I don't know if it's above his pay grade or not. But if anybody's up that way, and maybe we can get a whole bros weekend, we could just go up and ride. Because you've not ridden Chattanooga, right?
No, I've been to Chattanooga, but I've never ridden.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
I've been to a lot of places that I've never ridden. That's a big mistake.
Well, that's why I try and I get in trouble all the time. A guy called me that I haven't talked to in like 3 years. Opens a conversation with, got divorced. I was like, oh, I thought your wife was delightful.
Oh, have you heard about mountain biking?
Yeah,
I have a podcast.
He called and he was like, yeah, we got a project up in North Georgia. And I was like, listen, I'm just going to go ahead and discount this as far as I can possibly get it so that we can go ride our bikes in North Georgia.
That's awesome. Yeah, the podcast thing also was, we were riding past a group of fellas this weekend, and the one guy goes, there's that guy from the podcast. And Todd goes, it's not that big of a deal. He like yelled it. It's pretty funny.
Need to bring the Todd on. Have a fun moment with him. Anything else we can talk about?
I don't know. I'm kind of blanking out right now.
That's all right. We're going to go ride.
Yeah.
Do something.
My mind's on my
We're going
bike.
to Toughburg. We're not going to ride Toughburg again. Shout out to Toughburg. We come to your neighborhood all the time to shoot commercials for USM, and every time we get there, it rains.
Yeah, no kidding.
And those are definitely not home trails, so I'm not gonna risk messing up your shiz.
Does anybody have any guests that they want us to have on? That'd be a good one.
Yeah, we ask that a lot.
I know. No one ever reaches. Everybody listens. No one ever comments.
Do you want to be on the show? Yeah. I will literally let anybody be on the show. Don Lemon on the show. Tucker Carlson on the show.
Oh man.
Ric Flair's on Joe Rogan.
I listened to it already. Did you?
Would you? So here's a great question for you.
Okay. Let's go with
now that you've heard Ric Flair's life.
Yeah.
Would you do the same thing? If no damage to Casey and the kids, but would you live the lifestyle that he lived?
Hell yeah.
It was nuts.
Did you hear when he said he only got divorced 3 times and Joe Rogan was like, that's it?
Yeah. Not only, but Flair has he survived a plane crash.
Yeah, that was early though.
Yeah. I've been a big fan. Obviously, I'm a wrestling fan, so I know Ric Flair's my jam. But when you hear, I had no idea that he doesn't use any pain pills. He just is genetically a freak. I don't know how much of that is truth, and because there's a lot of bullshit.
Did you hear how long he was on Xanax though?
Yeah, since 1980 something, 86 or something.
Yeah,
but it only takes it to sleep.
Mike Tyson saved his life with weed.
Yeah,
get the fuck out of here.
Did you hear what his weed things are called?
Yeah,
Woo Chews.
Not a sponsor.
Hey, I want to be sponsored by the energy drink. Listen, I'm all about some Red Flair.
That sounded like that was good.
Yeah.
What we need to do some shit though. It's starting to get hot and everybody's gonna stop riding. We're gonna have to have one of those angry podcasts.
Yeah, it'll happen.
I know. Oh, Dirt Coaster Academy's coming May 21st.
Oh, there you go. There's another shout out.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
If y'all are still listening, surprised if you are through our ramblings.
I think that's just like hanging out with your buddies.
That's what it is.
It's basically like being at the trailhead, maybe with less cancelable.
You know what happened to me at the trailhead last week? Here's a big mistake, actually, to bring this all full circle. Everybody's like, hey, see you later. I'm like, see you guys. Have a good night. 7 o'clock, 7:30. go to open my door, and I don't have the keys.
Lock them in there?
They were locked in the car.
How'd you do that?
Oh, well, my stupid tailgate, when you open it, it doesn't actually unlock the rest of the car.
No.
So I like set my shit down in
I thought
there.
it may have been like somebody showed up and then you were just like
so I called.
so
I
frustrated.
wasn't even drinking. I was sober and I didn't have anything else to drink because it was in the car. And so I called Casey. I was like, hey, lock my keys in the car. She's like, okay, I'll bring you your keys. About 9:30, I called her. I was like, where you at? She's like, I'm bringing you your keys. I was like, where have you been? She's like, well, I was doing some stuff. I wasn't going to just drop it. What are you going to do? You got nowhere to go.
So I'm proud of she laid the smack down in her own way. She literally just laid the smack down on you.
She's an asshole.
She put you right back in your place. She just full circled.
So I sat there and listened to all the weird sounds that South's Trailhead will make when you're by yourself.
Yeah. How many gunshots did you count?
I don't know. I stopped. It is scary out there, dude. There's cars that creep by. They'll just stop by the parking lot for no reason.
Yeah.
I was like to the point where I could have rode my bike home, got my keys, and come back and been faster.
Probably.
Yeah. I might have, it might not have been 2 hours, but I was out there until 9:30. Might have been like 8 something when everybody left, but
yeah, it's a long time.
It was still bullshit.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it.
So I got divorced and
So I got divorced right out of the gate. And I need you to send me this quote for a project. We're like, listen, man, calm down. Settle down. That's how people get.
Business begets business.
That's 100% fact.
Yeah.
It's also like when you want to go ride like really bad. Like I haven't ridden a lot.
Yeah, you've been busy.
I've been busy. And I want to go ride and then it's just like a rain shitstorm.
I know. It sucks. I did some work at the Rev today and put carpets over it for the rain.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, here's a thing that we'll just share. Well, I'm not going to call it a pro tip because we are not pros whatsoever. Some people know this. We did an experiment. If you have the similar dirt to us, like if you have that sandy sort of mix, that berm was just dirt. There was no clay in that. So I imagine the clay ones work well. But we did like the BMX guys do, inadvertently. We did it with carpet. A lot of times we put carpet on it because it holds the sand in place. But what we found after about a month to 2 months, maybe 2 months of it, laying there, you could pull the carpet back and that berm is hard as a rock. Even after rain, it still held up pretty well.
I haven't checked it.
Yeah, I did the other day.
Okay, is it still good?
Yeah, it was solid.
Cool.
So we're using one berm as an experiment. It's not like a major good berm that has a lot of hours in it. But if you have a chance, just a thing, if you get some carpet and you're trying to like firm up that dirt, it really did help. You can ride the carpet too, but it's much faster without it. You can feel it. So just FYI, I'm sure there's people rolling their fucking eyes at that, but I'm just telling you, if you're out there, this is a Zero Drop podcast, and if we're helping anybody, we're helping anybody. But that was it was crazy how well it worked.
I mean, if it works, why is it stupid?
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, the other thing I was looking at, Pat sent me this link, and I've been looking at it all day. This mulch glue.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen it, but I imagine it.
But we could probably make some stuff with that. At least just the lips of jumps. I don't know. It's expensive.
That's the problem.
$46 for a gallon.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's as bad as the dirt tax stuff.
What if we can just buy Elmer's glue and water it down? I bet you can.
Somebody gave us the recipe once.
For meth?
Yeah. It's perfect for out there.
I mean, it's already being built. It's already being made out there.
Now, that's all gone.
I know.
The whole homeless guy, he's not there anymore. I think the flood got him.
He was...
Look, the trail cam that's out there, because there is a trail cam. There's multiple, by the way. But the trail cam has shown some interesting stuff. And one of those is Brett's still alive.
Yeah, we saw him, Bug and I.
Yeah.
He was walking towards us and then about face turned and about sprinted with a blanket over him.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. He is who he is.
I know.
Poor guy.
The keeper of our trails. We should have him on.
Oh, boy. I don't even know how that would go. That'd be a definite Patreon episode. I think that's going to do it. So if you haven't had a chance, just to reiterate, head over to Bump. It's Bump N, the letter N grind. Bump N grind. Head over there and check out that if you haven't seen the events from that. Hopefully they'll have footage so you can actually see how it rides next year. But for this year, you can go over there. It's a cool event. Dirt Coaster Academy is going to be here on May 21st. That's, again, hyper localizing this. That's it here in Mobile. But for other events, you can go to dirtcoasteracademy.com and check that out. Again, just because they have a lot of event-based stuff, you can head over to that and give them a shout. The one thing that we didn't do, I just realized, is that we literally ran away from trying.
Oh, we did.
To make sure.
Oh, my God, we did.
That we have.
Because he hadn't called me today. So I guess we'll just have to put run and try at the end.
Yep. He's going to be our back end
That's
sponsor.
what he gets.
Yeah.
He's a back end sponsor.
He's a back end sponsor.
He does have some stuff coming up, though. He's going to have a Wednesday night runs at Post in Spring Hill.
Oh, that's cool.
Which will be pretty awesome. And then Holla at the Dollar starts in May.
Yep.
On Sunday mornings. So
if you have a chance, go to runandtry.com or just go to a shop. And again, Aaron is the #1 dealer of Topos and On Clouds and Hokas in the United States.
There you go.
Just taking it to the next level.
That's good.
Widest selection for the widest feet. Runandtry.com.
If you
wide feet only.
If you're trying to get saved and would like to come to Dirt Church, reach out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We'll let you.
Yeah, Dirt Church is the open time. So if you want to come ride the Reb, Sunday mornings.
This is how you'll meet the congregation.
That's right.
You'll find out if you fit in the congregation or not. It's a test.
It is
to be completely honest.
Yeah.
It's a well-oiled sanctuary at this point, and we don't want to buck it up.
Yeah, that's true.
With some Satan lovers. I don't even know if that's
I don't even know what he's talking about right now. Okay. Well, with that said, just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Macaroni and cheese sounds.